specific in strategic locations. All this I can hardly, in an hour's time, I can hardly squeeze all this in. So I'll be kind of rambling here if you just bear with me. The main topic of my discussion here is to link up basically what's going on with these deep underground military bases, what they're being used for, what is the present situation now being employed both by our federal government, which is slowly being phased out by the United Nations government, as well as the New World, in quote, the New World Order, which is an even higher entity, and who these higher entities are taking their orders from, and trying to link up basically what's going on. A lot of us have been kept in the dark. We've been given, maybe most recently over here, photographs of an alien at Roswell. I'll just make a very brief statement about that. The photographs cannot stand up to a computer grain analysis test and therefore are retouched of fate. They're not real. The real one, the real photograph of the charred or dead alien that was one of the several that were autopsied is over here was given to me by a friend by the name of Skip Frombach of Seattle. And his father worked as one of the principal doctors. He was from Germany at the time and worked on some of the autopsy material, from what I understand, along with other people. Anyway, you just can't believe everything, and that goes for me. You got to get out there and do your homework. Like I always say, you might don't put your spectacles on, you put your skepticals on when you listen to me. So if we can have a show of hands here, how many people have heard about Roswell, New Mexico? Very good, almost all. And how many people have heard about the black helicopters and the other kinds of flying saucers type equipments out at Groom Lake and other places? Very good. Well, this obviously is a nice enlightened audience. Most of you have probably seen what a black helicopter is, or maybe even gotten rare glimpses of an F-117A black jet, or stealth, as they're often called, or a B-2 bomber, B-1 bomber, or some of these other sophisticated aircraft that are now being touted as the new technology. Once again, where did we get this new technology? Well, obviously we've had a little hand in that. Our little alien so-called buddies, have kind of exchanged things, not without a great cost. The cost of which has been a lot of people have disappeared. Some, this statistic by you, there's according to current FBI and Defense Intelligence Agency and CIA statistics, 100,000 children and 1 million adults disappear every year. And these are not kidnappings or murders or rapes or suicides or anything. Totally unaccounted for. And where are these people going to? Nobody knows. Maybe one of us in this room or somebody has encountered such an individual and lost a loved one or a friend or something. And that's unfortunate. My best friend, Ron Lee Rummel, several years ago, got himself murdered because we dared to put out in print, at that time I was still working for the government, and so was he, we dared to put in print that so-called the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, is part of the New World Order and takes its actions. It was originally written as a kind of a spoof or a joke. We had one of these alien grays dressed up and had New World Order. That wasn't taken very nicely, and my friend got himself murdered. It was called a suicide, but now it's been turned over to special authorities who now acknowledge it was a homicide. Uh, Other than that, I'd like to also mention something about my father. My father was a U-boat captain in Hitler's Navy, and he got captured and taken over. I didn't find this out until about 2 weeks before he died on his deathbed. He kind of told everybody in total shock. I was one of them. In fact, I didn't believe him. I thought he was kind of in delirium or something like that. And of course, other things have come up.
Excuse me.
He was captured by the French, turned over to the Third Army, the U.S. Third Army, and then U.S. Third Army turned him over to the Navy. The master part of the aerospace medicine group in the United States Navy, was instrumental in helping build the USS Nautilus, its first nuclear-powered predecessor, the Enterprise, first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, and other ships like it. He pioneered all the ways in building very small and miniature nuclear engines. He even helped work, but later on in his life, he helped develop the infamous grid bed nuclear motor, which is now employed in some things that look like flying saucers that people claim are flying saucers. Yes, we, in quote, the United States Air Force and other armed forces, are training other European forces to fly unidentified or now identified or, in quote, flying saucers. We've actually built several prototypes that are flying under names of Black Crow. My position as a geologist and engineer got me to see a lot of things in the world. I've been in over 70 countries. Also worked for NATO. I carried a level 3 security clearance with a rhyolite factor. Rhyolite is a factor. Maybe a couple of hundred military men worldwide. I thought I was doing the nation, the United States, as well as the world a favor by, I thought I was kind of keeping my end up. Well, it didn't work out that way. I was to later find out that these underground bases are now being employed as strategic bases for, in case there is martial law in this country. Right now, our military professors that used to be in war colleges and the like are training people like ex-Russian KGB and Spetsnaz people right here on American soil. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, along with other people who are geologists. By the way, I'm still a geologist, still do geological survey work. However, I don't work for the government anymore. I took my security clearance and all my government stuff and cut it up and sent it back to the, pardon my French, SOBs. When I found out that a number of these 131 deep underground military bases are being used to subvert the Constitution of the United States. I can't possibly be connected fully. Well, Mr. Schneider, you can't quit. Well, I said, yes, I can. I'm an individual, I'm going to quit, and I'm walking off the job. So I got arrested. Casually told, well, you got to finish your job. And so I caved into that part. I finished 3 weeks, and then at that time my father was dying, and I was out home, and I never went back for my paycheck. Don't intend to. These people are beginning to show signs of being our utmost enemy. It's why we formed a government, why our forefathers formed a government, a republic of the United States in the first place, way back 200 plus years ago. Because the drawing and quartering of soldiers, taxation without representation, law by edict, among other things. The very reason that we became a quote free republic, free society, ever be a nation on this earth, were instilled in our founding fathers that are now so far away from people now running our federal government structure. So I'm here today to touch upon a number of subjects. One being that these underground bases are roughly over 3 of them per state. There's now, instead of 12 prison camps, there's 39. That's almost 1 per state. They're building 2 prison camps every 7 months. They're building 2 underground military bases every year. Each one of these military bases, by the way, these underground military bases, they cost somewhere between $17 and $26 billion. They employ 1,800 to 10,000 workers each, at varying grades of skill. They gobble up totally through the black budget, over 1/4 of the black budget, or roughly $310 billion. Of course, you may say, where did these figures come from? Well, the black budget, as we know it, in quote, black projects, which anything called black is significant of hidden from Congress, hidden from the American people. Very few people are even know about it at all. But black budget per year garners over $500 billion a year. And it's these kind of huge quantities and sums of money are garnered through CIA drug activity, National Security Agency clandestine operations, mostly in Panama and South America. Now also engaged in Russia in bringing and refining strategic metals. By the way, you might want to ask, where's all these kind of interesting new metals coming? Over here on the whiteboard, we have the new periodic table. It's got 140 elements. Now, in our high schools, of the day I was in a high school about a week ago, I saw a new periodic table at 105 elements. Now, somewhere, we're not being told the truth. We're being lied to at every turn and every corner. We're considered less than morons. So the government has made itself an entity, an independent taxing body, an entity into itself, and doesn't give an accountable to anybody, not even the so-called New World Order. They just go ahead and do everything willy-nilly as they please. There's nobody checking. You don't have to worry about this. Occasionally there's a senator who pokes a nose in here and there, and that senator finds out either nicely or not so nicely that you don't do things like that. Now, if we're to gain a grip on our country, if we're to take our country back, we must first ask our public officials if they cannot tell us the truth, and we will impeach them, or they will be impeached, or they will be tried as traitors. That's pretty stiff language. Already it's slowly beginning to trickle out to occur to a number of people. This may be the only way out. Also, our founding fathers, George Washington, Patrick Henry, and a few of the other ones came up and said that you don't want to let the beast out of the box. They were talking about a runaway government. You don't want to allow your government to become like England at that time. of items up here at the table. One of which here is, I'll just show it, is a heavy hunk of rock indeed. It has a weight of about a little bit more than a pound, 2.5 times the weight of uranium. It's not radioactive, can never be made radioactive. Composed of earth, rare earth, clays, and powdered metals, as well as alien elements, mostly from crashed, retrieved flying saucers of the kind that have had the chance to crash in our deserts and backyards, so to speak. It's called Fahrenheit. This is employed in every stealth aircraft, every black jet throughout the black budget. Also in very small quantities in the skins of black helicopters. Fahrenheit. Here's another thing. Here's a piece of probably the purest titanium you'll ever hear or see. It's so pure. It's also capable of withstanding temperatures in excess of 7,000. Our new class submarine, which we're building right now.